Hey guys, a few of you that watch my videos have seen me clean up grungy, nasty looking things like this calculator I brought home from work. I don't need no more there, and I thought it'd be useful to me in the shop. This is a Texas Instruments TI 1706 SV, which uses a solar cell and a battery for backup. And it's an old calculator, it works pretty good. I found this thing when I started up there 8 years ago, and used it to figure rate and stuff, and now that I don't mold, I don't need it no more. So I figured I'd bring it home. As you can see, it's beyond grungy. It should be a nice bright white color. And here's the lid for it. Very dirty. So today what we're going to do is take this thing apart, or attempt to, and give it a good bath using the Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. And these things work wonders. So I'll get it taken apart, and we'll do a quick clean on this thing and see if we can brighten it up any. The other night my wife made some blueberry cobbler. Boy oh boy, I tell you, it's good. Going to finish the rest of it for lunch today, but I thought it'd be nice to have it with a cup of coffee. And usually on the weekends I'll brew our coffee with this KitchenAid coffee maker we've had since, probably about 2005. This was a Christmas gift one year, and it's been a really good coffee maker for us. But then in late 2008 we moved into the instant world of the Keurig brewer, and this has been a pretty good machine for us. We've had a few problems with it, but it's been overall fairly reliable. And before, the K-cups that come with these, let me grab one here and show you. These are an example of one of the K-cups that the Keurig machine uses. And these are getting fairly expensive in price, you know, upwards of, say, 70-80 cents a cup for one of these little buggers. And my wife buys a lot of these via Amazon, and I think the last time she bought these Donut Shop coffee pods for a box at 80, it was right around, I think, $25 or $23, which you figure a box of 18 of these normally at your grocery store are upwards of $15 for 18 of them. So they're getting rather expensive. And then as time went on, besides the pods, you had what's called a My K-cup insert, which you could take this apart, put your coffee, pre-ground coffee, or grind your own coffee, into this little basket, and reassemble it all back together. And you can insert this into your Keurig brewer with your coffee in there. You just take it over here. And now to use this one, you have to take this insert right here out, what holds your K-cup at your K-cup holder. You have to take that out and then set that one in there, and then you normally brew like a normal cycle. Well, she's found something that's a little nicer than that here a few months back, that you don't have to take this K-cup holder out anymore for. Now, she found these at the local Kroger store, and this is Kroger's version of the My K-cup. And all you have to do to this one is to open it, fill it up to the second line, the lowest line right here, with your coffee ground, or you can grind your own, of course. And that's got a seal around the top. Once you put your coffee in there, you just snap it back shut, and you take your pod back over here again. And this one's set up to where one of these pockets will fall right where that needle is down here, right here, that pokes your K-cup. And so you just take this pod, set it in there, and you close your machine and brew like a standard cycle. Let me put some coffee in this and I'll show you what I mean. Alright, I'm finally feeling well enough to get back down here and do some work. And it's been a while, and I've got some projects that have been mounting. About a week or so ago, might have been 2 weeks, I don't remember, it's been a while back, I dropped one of our AT&T cordless phones. We have two with a base unit upstairs. One sits on the base and the other one goes out in the garage on a remote base. It got dropped. I dropped it, and it pretty much EOL'd itself. And I pulled it apart about a week ago, and then all the other crap happened, and I never got back down here to work on it. But I found a wire loose on the circuit board right here. Why, I don't know, but it is. It broke a solder joint. So I need to play around with this little thing, see if I can get it working again. And if it's not that, maybe it cracks something else on our circuit board. And we'll give it a look-see here and see what happens. Here we are with our electronics removed out of this calculator. And this uses a small button cell type battery, which for this particular application, this is a GP189. It's probably the original battery. I know it's dead because when you cover the solder cell up, the calculator quits working. And to get this thing out of the case, we had to do a little surgery. These little 6 standoffs they have right here were capped with plastic, and that's to keep the circuit board from getting away from the keys, which really makes no sense because this tracing on the back cover right here firmly presses down on the circuit board to keep it up against this very grungy keypad, which in turn presses on the buttons. So I'll evaluate that when we get it snapped back together. If it needs, just a little bit more to keep everything where it's at, we can lay a thin piece of cardboard or cardstock over top of the circuit board to give it a little bit more press down. But we'll address that issue when we get there. Now, let me clean the sink out and we'll get to washing the case up on this thing. Now I've added my pre-ground coffee up to the line like I showed you guys. And we'll just take this, snap it shut, make sure it's good and shut, all the way around. And we'll take this over here and put it into our machine. Our old coffee maker here, it's getting to be fairly old. It makes some pretty horrendous noises sometimes. It'll draw water in first to heat it. And as this machine gets older, the pump is getting louder and louder sometimes. And that's even after doing the cleaning cycle several times on it. Just brews your cup of coffee. And this method actually does save you quite a bit of money. I mean, we can brew 12 cups with our KitchenAid back there. You can brew one 11.25 ounce cup one at a time. Now our old coffee maker, when we first got this, yeah, it did make a cup of coffee in about a minute. Some of the pods, it takes it almost 2.5 minutes to make a cup of coffee. But what I've noticed with some of them pods is that the media mesh inside of some of them pods must be a little tightly woven between manufacturers, because some of them, this thing will just fly right through, and other ones, it's almost like it's forcing itself to put water through them. And there we are. And then we'll draw water down it again. And we'll take our cup of coffee over here. Oh, there we go. Now that's a nice way to finish up lunch. Alright, here's what's happened. All these little connections across the side of this IC, across the front of this IC, and this one big one right here have broke. All them solder joints are busted. So I'm going to fire up the soldering iron and see if maybe I can resurrect this thing, but I don't see much of a chance. That's some tiny soldering. But we'll see what happens. Now, as a testament to show you what these Mr. Clean erasers can do, it's just after about a minute of soaking. We'll give it a good bath inside and out and scrub up all the keys. As I said, this stuff, these Mr. Clean Magic erasers, let's do this here. Let's give it a little bit of rub. See, look at that, how quickly them things work. Great for all kinds of stuff. I love using these on old faded dials for radios and things like that, and cabinets. You got to watch some of the plastics that the cabinets are made out of, because these can be kind of harsh. Now they have a scrubby side and they have a smooth side. So they work pretty good. I highly recommend them. Now, once we're done brewing, just reverse the process. We take my K-cup filter out. I usually let them sit right here in the bottom and drain. But then when you're done, you just open up the top, dump your grounds in the trash can. Make sure they're cool, of course, because this little guy here, let me see if I can find it, brews at 192 degrees. So make sure that you empty your grounds after they've cooled off. And that's it. Fairly easy. I think these things were right around $6, I believe. They weren't very much. We've had them for probably about a year now, and they work pretty good. I hate to say it, but the AT&T cordless is a complete loss. Those little pins on the bottom of that IC straight in front of my thumb, each one of those broke loose from the circuit board. And I lack the soldering skills to do stuff that intricate without making it a sloppy mess. So this phone's life's pretty well over. It's been a good phone. We've had it for 7 years. And I'll keep the battery. These are kind of expensive, and this is the only set these phones have had. And they still hold up really well. They did a good job picking a battery for these cordless phones. And the base unit upstairs is expandable up to 12 units. And if I ever find one of these at say a junk store or a garage sale or something that's in decent shape, I'll pick it up. Because all it's got to do is calibrate this hand unit with the base, and you should be good to go. So that project is a total flame out. And here we are after the bath. I think you see everything's nice and clean now. There's a few spots that didn't come off. Somebody wrote a vocational identification on the back of that with marker. It didn't take that off. That keypad is now clear instead of black. So our cover, you can see it's not gray no more. It's actually a blue. I haven't got around to cleaning the electronics of the unit yet. It needs to be wiped off. And our keypad is kind of bad for the wear. A few of the numbers have wore off over the years of using it. Of course, our 0, and I think that's a decimal point, equals. This is our positive negative button percentage, and I don't remember, I think that was square root, I believe. I'll have to go back and look at a picture of this before I disassemble it to make sure all the buttons are actually in the right spot. I just kind of have them laid out right now for drying purposes. But yep, she cleaned up pretty good. And these things are made to naturally shred themselves. I wish they'd build them a little bit stouter than what they do. But that's what's left of our Mr. Clean Magic eraser. Pieces laying everywhere. I need to make them a little stouter, but I'm telling you guys, they work great. Check them out. And here is our final reassembled product. all cleaned up, ready to be put back into service in a much less dirty environment. He's a happy little guy now. I took the battery out because this thing runs on solar power too, and it does a good job, so that's just one less thing I gotta worry about. But it's good to go. Hey guys, I wanted to close out this video with just a little talking session. There's been a lot going on here in the last month or so, not just out there in the cyber world, but here in the real world regarding family. And thus far, February, as you've seen in my last video, has not started out too swift here in my own house. Things are going better. I'm feeling better. First couple of days was a real struggle, I will say that. But as we're getting back on our feet throughout the family, we've lost a few people this time around since the beginning of February. And we lost a great aunt on my dad's side here last, I think it was Sunday. She died overnight. And on my mom's side, in the past 9 months, she has lost an aunt, an uncle, and their daughter. Yes, that's right. 3 people out of the same family. Same family. And which is a real shame, And then not to mention Grandpa's passing back in September. So you really get to wondering about life as a grand scheme sometimes, you know what I mean? And you get to wondering how much longer, not just yourself, but some of these people you've had around you all your life got left. And I told my wife a while back, we get to talking about futures and stuff like that, that me being, in my mid-30s and her being in her mid-30s, we're going to see a lot of these famous people and a lot of these popular people pass away in our lifetimes. It's sad to say, but that's just the way life is. And there's nothing you can do about it. You really wish that one of these days in the grand scheme of life, somebody would come up with a way to prevent aging, to make people last. But there's certain people you wouldn't want to apply that serum to. Sorry, I threw that out there. But there's another fella that we've been wondering about probably since August for myself, because that's the last time I had contact with him. Is this guy right here on the YouTube. A lot of you guys know him as Tim, or on here on the YouTube as AM Station Engineer. And I've learned a lot off of Tim. I joined YouTube in 2000, I think it was 10. And Tim was one of my first subscribers. As a matter of fact, he was my first subscriber. And I learned a lot off this guy. For years, this man was a Zenith repairman. And he has sent me countless amounts of information, shared his knowledge, sent me soldering lessons and stuff like that to learn how to solder. And it's just amazing what this man has taught me. I respect him. I really respect him. I respect all you guys here on the YouTube. And I've never met him. I know he lives over in Pennsylvania. And we've chatted back and forth via the YouTube and then via personal emails and messages and stuff like that. Very knowledgeable guy. Unfortunately, Tim has multiple sclerosis, or MS. And back in August of 2013, his MS was progressing, and it was getting worse, and he was starting to fall into bad health. And several of us, myself, Old Radio Al, and a few of the other guys here on YouTube had wondered what happened to him. And I got an email from him yesterday, and that's awesome. And he writes in this email, back up here, it's a little too bright. He writes in this email, Nathan, this is my first time at the keyboard since late August of 2013. My multiple sclerosis syndromes have worsened to the point which leaves me all but totally incapacitated most times. I'm also encountering other, more severe health-related issues. Please convey my gratitude and on my behalf, as I am unable to write everyone, for the great friendship which I've enjoyed from all my friends at YouTube. All the best. He signs it Tim. So, our good friend's still out there. And I'm glad to hear that. I had really thought, and so did a couple other members, that the worst had actually happened. So guys, it's not really a sad note, but on kind of a positive, upbeat note, we're going to end this video, and thanks for watching.